Hey guys, Jim here. We're going to be doing a pseudo guest blade. I'm kind of phasing guest blade out a little bit. Not really going to be doing as many as I used to do. Not quitting on it, just going to be slowing down quite a bit. But this is more of a showcase on one particular maker. His name is Eric Ochs. And I have a selection of amazing knives handcrafted by him here on the table. And I had a chance to meet with him at the Blade Show 2014, and I found him to be one of the kindest, humblest, most approachable guys there. And it was really weird because when I was introduced to him, I didn't recognize him. It didn't look like him. I'm like, you don't strike me as a knife maker. You have a very, I don't know, it's just a completely different kind of look than what you would normally expect. And I don't know if there's actually a quote-unquote knife maker look, but we think of guys, I don't know, just big, burly guys with big beards, drinking a lot of beer and making gnarly hand tools. And he's so not like that. I mean, he looks like an architect or a teacher of some sort. But the creativity that flows out of him is really quite amazing. He's not just making tools here, he's making expressions of art. And that's what you're going to see as I bring each of these out. And I had a wonderful conversation with him, and it was through Justin Laffer, my good friend Justin, who introduced us, because Justin has been, kind of busting my balls going, dude, you need to get an Ochs, you need to get an Ochs. And I'm very happy to say that, yes, I am going to have one at some point, but, it could be a year from now before he gets a chance to make it. He's a very busy guy. I've never had the chance to handle so many of his knives. And it's been so much fun to do so that when we were standing there, Justin's like, I tell you what, I brought all of my knives with me to the show. I'm going to give you all of my Ochs. You take them back home with you, and when you get a chance, you could do a video on them if you like. And I was like, oh, shit, yeah. So on the last day of the show, Justin handed me a giant bag filled with all of these incredible knives. And yeah, it was a little bit nerve-wracking when you consider the value of each one of these, especially on the secondary market. So time to get this video underway. Now, I'm going to show you each of the knives individually toward the end of the video, but I do want to talk a little bit about Eric and the kind of work that he does and why he does what he does. Let's get into the name first. So if we take a look here, you see Ochs Worx, and that was one of the first things I asked him. I said, what's the deal with that? Because some say Ochs Worx and some just say Ochs Worx. And what's the whole idea behind all that? Basically, he lives in Sherwood, Oregon, so he just kind of put that together as a cool little brand name. And that was when he began just making knives for his friends and for locals. And now that it's gotten to the point that he's grown beyond that, quite obviously, he has decided to shorten it to Ochs Worx. So if you look at some of the newer models, which would be like this old guy right here, the Lynx, it's going to now say Ochs Worx. So that's going to be one great way of dating his knives. For those of you that may ever come across some of these and want to know, well, is this like pre-2013 or, something like that? That gives you an idea of the age of the knife just by looking at the logo. And the whole deal with this is it's the expression of creativity that drives him to design and make all of his knives. We had a very long discussion a couple of nights ago about his philosophies and why he does what he does. And the basic thing is he's first and foremost always making a tool. You're always going to get good thick blade stock. You're going to get a very strong pivot. You're going to get a beefy, tough kind of knife. But every single one has to display some sort of beauty and craftsmanship, not simply just be a tool. Because really, you can go anywhere and buy a tool knife. There are plenty of them out there, whether it be production, mid-tech, or custom. But he wanted to give the collectors the opportunity to have something that can be relied upon for hunting, fishing, camping, whatever it is that you're going to do with your knives, to be able to do all that, but also still be able to carry around a showpiece, something that's an expression of the collector's individuality. And the great thing is he's an avid sportsman himself. He's a hunter, he's a fisherman, he does all of these things, and he's always had knives with him since he was a child. And it's always something he's been interested in. Now, he is a college graduate and all of these amazing things that, again, kind of put him on a different path than knife maker. But I love the fact that he did come to this industry and brought in this artistic, creative mindset. Because the whole idea, let's say you're looking at, I don't know, this one happens to be my personal favorite. This is the Fox. So if you see this Fox, you know this is Justin Laffer's. You're never going to see another one like it. Because every one that he makes is going to be built for the individual. He will not replicate a knife. It's going to be different materials or different colors or different executions in some fashion. So each one is going to have a different configuration to make it an individual's expression of who they are and what their collection is all about. And you see it, this really reflects Justin's individual taste. He likes knives with holes in them. He also likes kind of that darker, dirtier kind of look to it. So, you know, you've got this green linen micarta, and the way that he's decided to do this hammered bronze where it has this really patinaed finish to it. This is really up Justin's alley. Now, the knife that is going to be built for me is going to be probably the complete polar opposite of what you're seeing here, with the exception of this one. That's a little bit flashy for Justin, really, but that's really up my alley. So every time you see somebody with an Eric Ochs knife, you're never going to see its twin anywhere else. And I really dig that idea. No matter how custom knives are, most makers will still dip back into the same well. And that's not a bad thing. But I know when I spend a lot of money for a knife, I love the fact that I have something that's unique to my collection. And it's not a bad thing that more than one is made of it, but it really helps. I don't know, it gives you that extra little bit of a special feeling when you know that the knife that you have in your that you have in your collection, that you have in your hand, that you have in your pocket, is yours and only yours, and nobody else has one like it. This one, by the way, pretty much captured everybody's imagination at the Blade Show when we were invited up to Justin's room, me and a few friends in that particular group, because I think Justin basically had a turnstile at the door. His was like the party room. And everybody was playing with all of his knives, and this was the one everybody went, oh my God, the action on this knife is astounding. And it really is. Just so awesome. I'm going to put that back down for a second, though, so I can continue to focus. So here's the deal. He basically was doing part-time in 2007. He went full-time in 2009. He is making everything completely 100% handmade. There's no CNC, water jet, wire EDM, nothing. Everything is done by him, by hand, in his shop. So, of course, that's going to create a slower process. He does his own stock removal for his blades. He also freehand grinds every single blade. And when you look at a blade like this, this is not an easy blade to grind when you really take a good look at it. And you can see the telltale signs. There's a very slight variation from left hand to right hand on this top swedge, which gives you the indication that this was definitely freehand ground. And I love that. There's nothing wrong with somebody using CNC, water jet, EDM, nothing at all. But I really love the fact that you are getting a handcrafted product. And for some people, that's going to be a very, very big deal. So when the information is presented to me, when I actually have it, I do try to give that to you. He does utilize Paul Boz for the heat treats. So he's getting Boz heat treats. So you know you're getting top shelf, top of the line heat treating there. Most of the models that he makes now are on bearings. And the only bearing systems he uses are one, the GTC bearings, or two, the Alpha Thrust bearings in stainless steel. That's it. That's the only two that he uses. He believes in having the stainless steel balls in there. I mean, IKBS is great, but IKBS just uses standard steel. So they could at some point possibly, rust and corrode. Whereas stainless steel, obviously, you have a great reduction in that possibility. Everything can rust pretty much when it comes to steel, but with stainless steel, with any sort of decent proper care, you're probably going to be okay. So that's basically him in a nutshell, okay? He's bringing forward his knowledge from hunting and fishing and all that outdoorsy stuff and putting them into his knives, and then he's creating almost an artist's rendering of those knives. Now, I want to go in a particular order here. I want to kind of go, if I can, from oldest to newest. I don't know if I'm going to accomplish that. I may screw up a little bit here. But I do want to start with this little guy right here. This one, oh, this is the Gerfalcon. And that is the name of an actual bird, by the way. I did not know that. This was made around 2010. This is one of the earlier pieces. And we'll take a good look at this. Love the blade shape on this. And you'll notice beautiful bolster work here. Very clean. Great ergonomic feel all the way around. Everything is contoured. Everything is very comfortable in the hand. Raised back spacer coming out the back, done in orange G10. Titanium lock side. Beautiful clip on that, isn't it? Beautifully done. Hinderer style over travel on there. Great action on it. This is on washers, not on bearings, but it feels nice and smooth. Nice clean finish work. Love the detail to the back spacer there, that kind of sandwich. Now, as I understand it, when I was talking to Eric about this knife, this was influenced by one of his idols and somebody that kind of took him under their wing when he first started. A gentleman's name is Wayne Goddard. And the double finger notch that you see here is basically inspired from a fixed blade that Mr. Goddard had made. And Eric wanted to kind of bring some of those influences into his early knife designs that he put out. It's got a great feel in the hand. This is really a sharp looking knife. It's not my particular style, but this is a really great example of a classic look done in modern materials that's made to last, done by hand. Great balance, great proportions. Kind of a soft detent on it. There was obviously no need for a harsh detent. It's not a flipper. Oh, that thing is just solid as a rock. That ain't going nowhere. But it doesn't take a lot to break it free. Very, very nicely done. So that's an example of one of his older pieces right there, and that will bear the older logo where it says Ochs Worx on it. Beautiful finish on that blade too. Really, really, really nice light tumble on there. All right, so we'll move that one out of the way for right now. And let's go down to, yeah, I kind of have to go to this one. And maybe skipping around a little bit. This is my favorite of this bunch. I love the overall knife, the way this one's designed, but I love this sculpted titanium and the beautiful bronze that he's chosen on this. It's not a deep, dark, rich bronze. It's almost a golden bronze. And look how deep the carvings go in that titanium and the way that it plays with the light. This thing is absolutely gorgeous. And it reminds me of a leaf. And then, of course, you have the leaf-shaped blade, which really kind of completes that look. This thing is just gorgeous. This is the one I've been playing with the most. Oh, and as you see, I mean, Justin is a user just like I am. Every single knife that you see of his is going to have wear and some use, and that's awesome. The action on this is quick. It's snappy. Little soft on the detent, but as I was talking with Eric about that, as he's evolved, he's changed more and more things, and one of the things that he's changed on his newer knives is a stronger, snappier detent. This is from back in 2011, and it's still a little rocket. It still flips wonderfully. I love the soft lines of that grind. I love the way that it kind of just trails down. It's got a certain amount of beauty to it, just in the way that the blade is shaped, and then how the grind perfectly complements the shape of that blade. And by the way, all of these are wonderfully sharp. He does a really, really, really nice edge. And he does mark a lot of these. This one's done in Elmax steel. I didn't catch what the other one was. I apologize. And one of the things that we discussed was, he says one of the reasons why, especially in his older ones, why he doesn't go crazy with the detent is because he likes to, when at all possible, to give you two options to open. So you can obviously flip it, or you can open it with the thumb hole. And if you've got a thumb hole opening, I've got a couple of knives that for whatever reason, they've got thumb studs or an opening or something, and it's on a flipper, and it's set up only as a flipper. You can't possibly open it with one hand by using the alternate opening method. And obviously, as you see here with this knife, it's not a problem at all. I can flick it open, I can thumb it open slowly, and very obviously, I can flip it nicely as well. The balance on all these things is perfect. When you look at the lockup, every single one is absolutely perfect. When you feel the lock bar tension, it's not too light and it's not too strong. If it's too strong, you've got the detent ball pushing up against the blade, causing a lot more friction, and that slows everything down. These are just done to perfection. Two of the hardest things when it comes to making a folding knife are going to be setting your detent and setting your lock. And those are the things that, you know, guys will struggle with going from fixed blades to folders. And that is something that he has mastered all the way around. I also love the fact he's utilizing the entire frame for this blade. He has the frame sticking way, 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 way out. This is just a perfect compact little package. I love the feel, I love the shape, and I love the design that was chosen on this particular variation. All right, so let's get that out of the way. Next, let's see. Let's go to the jade. Okay, so this thing is crazy. This is the Coyote flipper, or Coyote, however you prefer to pronounce it. And with the Coyote, and I think he had a Coyote out on his table this year as well, if I'm not mistaken. With the Coyote, on this particular one, you're getting jade G10 and genuine copper, beautiful hammered copper. And as it ages, it's gonna get this beautiful patina. And it's already obviously got some on there. This is from 2012. Beautiful hammered copper backspacer on there. And I think that may be one of my favorite features that he does from knife to knife. Now, as you saw on the Fox, that's standoffs. But with the Coyote and a couple of the other ones, he's doing very pronounced backspacers. They look fantastic. As far as ergos go, this is my favorite ergonomically. It swells out big here, comes in nice and narrow at the bolsters. He's got a very large thumb relief here and a very large choil up here, and it just, for my size hands, this thing is absolutely perfect. Again, super amazing action. Somebody actually asked me on another video, he's like, well, what are you talking about that the knife has a smooth action? It's a flipper, of course it's a smooth action. No, you can make a fast flipper that's not smooth at all. When you could take the knife and just barely touch it, and gravity brings it down to its detent, that shows how smooth it is. That shows that all the contact surfaces inside of here are well done, that the bearings are in place, they're seated properly, everything is even the way that it should be. It has the proper amount of lock bar tension, not too tight, not too loose. It's just done perfectly. And look at this, even the copper over travel set in here. So you've got nice little details throughout, another really nice clip. It is a somewhat simplified spring clip, but the way that it's shaped keeps it from really being called something that's, you know, very simple. Beautiful look all the way around. For me, it's the ergonomics on this. Great balance, nice workable edge. This thing is just cooler than shit. All right, next up, and I'm about ready to run out of time. This is going to end up being a two-part video. So let me do this. Let me cut it off right here, and let's go into a part 2 before my camera cuts me off. I'll see you guys in a couple of seconds.